What if I told you that the version of you right now is not your final form? That no matter how broken, tired, lost, or stuck you feel, you can rebuild yourself from the ground up. This isn't just another motivational speech. This is a call to action, a spark to reignite your fire, a challenge to stop waiting for life to change and start becoming the one who changes it. In this powerful message, we're going deep into the habits that shape you, the thoughts that limit you, the silent battles you've been fighting, and the strength that's been quietly waiting for your permission to rise. So don't scroll. Don't click away. Because the words you're about to hear, they're not just meant to inspire you. They're meant to awaken you. This is your moment, your reset, your rebuild. Let's begin. The will to begin is the spark that separates dreams from reality. It is the invisible force that pushes a person to rise when staying down would be easier. So many people wait for the perfect moment, the right mood, the ideal situation, the guarantee of success. But life does not reward the one who waits. It rewards the one who starts. The truth is, no moment will ever feel fully ready. You will never have all the answers, all the strength, or all the clarity. But you don't need them. What you need is the courage to begin, despite not having them. Every transformation, every reinvention, every story of rising from the ashes begins at the same point: a decision. Not a loud, dramatic declaration, but a quiet, unshakable decision in the mind that says, "I will not stay here." That decision, made without applause, without certainty, and often without support, is what rewrites lives. Starting is not about having confidence. It is about choosing movement over stagnation. It's about doing what you can with what you have, where you are, even if your hands are shaking and your voice is unsure. There is a myth that people who succeed are fearless, but the reality is they were just willing to walk through fear instead of being ruled by it. They did not wait to feel powerful before they acted. They acted, and power followed. Emotion follows motion. That's why the smallest step forward can break the heaviest chains. Because action disrupts doubt. It silences the voice that says you're not ready. It turns possibility into momentum. People talk about purpose and passion like they're gifts that arrive one day, wrapped in certainty. But purpose is discovered in motion. Passion is built in the doing. You do not think your way into a new life. You act your way there. And it all begins with the will to begin. That will is not found in special people. It is found in ordinary people who stop waiting and start doing. Every excuse, every delay, every hesitation is a wall. And walls don't fall by wishing. They fall by pushing. So push. Not because it's easy. Not because you're sure of the outcome. But because staying stuck is no longer an option. Progress isn't about speed. It's about direction. And the direction changes the moment you decide to move. Don't measure the size of your step. Measure the fact that you stepped at all. That's where your strength lives. In the decision to break the pattern, to challenge the fear, to begin the process of rebuilding without waiting for permission. Because you are the permission. You are the power. And it all begins the moment you decide that enough is enough and it's time to move. Habit shapes destiny in quiet, relentless ways. What you do repeatedly, even without thinking, becomes the architecture of your life. People often search for big breakthroughs, dramatic shifts, or sudden motivation. But the truth is, your future is not built by explosions. It's built by patterns. The small, consistent actions you take every single day are the bricks from which your identity is formed. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And your habits are your systems. Every habit is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. When you show up to train, even when you don't feel like it, you cast a vote for discipline. When you choose to read instead of scroll, you vote for wisdom. When you get up 1 minute earlier, breathe 1 moment deeper, and speak 1 word kinder, you're laying down new pathways in your mind. These pathways are not just psychological, they are biological. Your brain literally reshapes itself around what you repeatedly do. And that is power most people never realize they have. Too often, people believe they are stuck because of circumstance, background, or personality. But what truly keeps most people stuck is routine. The same thoughts, the same choices, the same behaviors, day after day, create the same results. If you want a different outcome, you don't need a different life. You need different habits. Because your habits create your character, and your character shapes your destiny. You cannot escape the weight of your repeated actions. Whether positive or negative, they compound. 1 missed workout may mean nothing, but 10 missed workouts is a pattern. 1 honest conversation may not solve everything, but 100 honest conversations rebuild trust. Consistency is underrated because it doesn't shout, it whispers. It whispers through quiet discipline, daily effort, and invisible progress. It whispers through routines that feel boring, but are building something unbreakable underneath. Change doesn't demand you to be extreme. It asks you to be consistent. It asks you to show up even when you don't see the reward right away. It asks you to trust the process, to trust that the version of you you're building is worth the repetition. Because repetition is not a punishment, it's the pathway to mastery. The difference between someone who dreams and someone who transforms is not talent, it's not luck, it's not fate, it's habits. The daily decision to align your actions with your values, no matter how small those actions may seem. You are not born disciplined. You become disciplined by practicing discipline. You are not born strong. You become strong by lifting the weight of repetition. Your future is hidden in your habits, waiting to be revealed one day at a time. And once you understand that, you no longer fear the long road. You respect it. Because every step taken with intention is a step closer to the life you were meant to build. Action before emotion is a principle that defies the common narrative. So many people wait to feel ready, wait to feel confident, wait to feel motivated before they move. But the truth is, emotion is unreliable. It rises and falls like the tide, influenced by weather, sleep, mood, memory, and fear. If you wait for the perfect emotional state to take action, you'll spend your life waiting. Progress belongs to those who understand that you do not act because you feel strong. You feel strong because you act. This is the secret to rebuilding yourself. The shift happens not when you feel inspired, but when you decide to move despite not feeling anything at all. You wake up tired. You move anyway. You feel doubt. You take the step anyway. That's where transformation begins, in the space between resistance and motion. When you override hesitation and do what must be done, something profound happens. Inside you, you prove to yourself that you are more powerful than your mood, and that proof builds self-trust. Every time you act in alignment with your goals, without waiting to feel good, you strengthen your will. You train your mind to obey your mission, not your emotions. because your emotions are temporary, but your mission is not. It is in those quiet, unglamorous moments when no one sees you, when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's uncomfortable, that your new identity is being formed. Your emotions may shout, "Stay in bed, you're tired, you're not ready," but your action replies, "I move forward anyway." You cannot think your way into confidence. You build it through action. You cannot meditate your way into courage. You earn it by standing tall in uncertain moments. The mind adapts to what you consistently do. When you start showing up, day after day, regardless of how you feel, your mind starts to believe a new story, that you are capable, that you are disciplined, that you can be trusted to lead yourself. That belief becomes the foundation of momentum. It's easy to take action when you're inspired, but rebuilding yourself doesn't happen on easy days. It happens on the days when nothing comes naturally, when you feel heavy, when your thoughts are fogged with doubt, when your heart isn't in it. That is where greatness is born, in the gap between resistance and action. In those exact moments, you redefine what kind of person you are becoming. Feelings may start the journey, but they cannot be trusted to finish it. The emotion often comes after the movement, not before. You act, and clarity follows. You push, and strength rises. You begin, and belief builds. The most powerful version of you is not the one who waits to feel ready. It's the one who moves in the absence of readiness, and in doing so, becomes ready. Because that's how real power is built. Not through emotion, but through decisive, consistent action. You are not finished. This is not the end of your story, no matter how final it may feel. Life has a way of convincing people that they are stuck where they are, defined by past mistakes, limited by current circumstances, or broken beyond repair. But none of that is true. What you are experiencing right now is not the full picture. It's just a chapter. The pain, the setbacks, the self-doubt, even the failures, they are not your identity. They are moments, and moments pass. The most dangerous lie you can believe is that what you are right now is all you'll ever be. Growth is not a straight line. Sometimes it feels like falling. Sometimes it looks like losing. But real growth often hides in the mess, in the dark, in the days when you feel furthest from progress. That is where your foundation is tested and rebuilt. You are not your lowest day. You are not the version of you that made poor choices. You are not the one who gave up before. You are the one who's still here, still breathing, still capable of choosing differently. The fact that you're even reading this, seeking change, reaching for something better, that alone proves you're not done. There is more in you. More to discover, more to build, more to become. The story is not over. It's just paused, waiting for your next move. The power to rebuild is not reserved for the perfect. It's not something only the strong, lucky, or fearless get to do. It belongs to anyone who dares to believe that today does not have to look like yesterday. It belongs to the person who chooses to get back up, no matter how many times they've fallen. It belongs to you. And the most beautiful part of rebuilding is this. You get to decide what it looks like. You are not locked into who you used to be. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to start over. You are allowed to leave behind the habits, people, environments, and thoughts that have kept you small. That's not quitting. That's choosing growth. And it takes more courage to change than it does to stay the same. Every scar you carry, every crack in your story, can be used to let the light in. You can rebuild not in spite of your pain, but because of it. It has taught you things comfort never could. You've seen what doesn't work. You've felt the cost of inaction. You've lived through the consequences of shrinking yourself. And now, you have something powerful. Clarity. You know what matters. You know what it feels like to lose yourself, and you know how deeply you want to find yourself again. So no matter what the world says, no matter how final the past seems, remember this. You are not finished. You are being shaped, carved, refined into something stronger. The process may be slow. It may hurt. But it is not the end. It is a beginning disguised as difficulty. The mind can be retrained. This single truth holds the key to transformation, yet so few truly believe it. People grow up thinking their thoughts are facts, that the voice in their head is the truth, that their fears and doubts are permanent. But the mind is not a fixed structure. It is not set in stone. It is plastic, adaptable, and trainable. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. But you don't need a science degree to feel the evidence. Every time you challenge a negative belief, every time you act against fear, every time you choose a new perspective, you are rewiring the way your brain works. You are proving that change is not only possible, it's natural. Your current thought patterns may have been shaped by pain, failure, or conditioning. They may tell you that you're not good enough, not capable, not worthy. But those thoughts are not laws. They are learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. You were not born thinking you couldn't succeed. That belief was planted, fed, and repeated until it felt real. But you have the power to replace it. It takes effort, it takes awareness, but it starts with one realization. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. The mind is like a garden. If you don't plant intention, weeds of fear and doubt will grow by default. Negative thoughts are not always your fault, but they are your responsibility. You cannot always control what enters your mind, but you can control what stays. You can choose what to water, what to ignore, what to challenge, and what to believe. That is not wishful thinking. It is mental discipline. And just like physical strength, it grows through repetition. You catch the thought that says you'll fail, and you respond, not with denial, but with truth. You remind yourself of the evidence, of what you've already survived, of what you've already overcome, and slowly, that inner voice starts to change. Rebuilding your mind is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about telling yourself the truth, again and again, until it becomes louder than the lies you've been living by. You learn to spot the pattern before it pulls you under. You recognize the loop before it becomes your reality. You take control of the inner world, because that world creates everything else. Your choices, your habits, your energy, your relationships, all of them begin with your thoughts. The person who learns to command their mind becomes unstoppable, because they are no longer dragged around by impulse, insecurity, or fear. They have trained themselves to think with purpose, to direct their attention, to choose their focus, and in that focus, they create a new identity, not one shaped by the past, but one forged in intention. That is how you rebuild. Not just your body, not just your life, but your mind. One thought at a time, one belief at a time, one decision at a time. Until the old voice of fear is drowned out by a new voice that says, I am capable. I am in control. I am becoming something better. Your future self is watching. Every decision you make today, every action you take, every habit you build, echoes forward into the person you are becoming. It's easy to live only in the present moment, to get caught in short-term comfort and instant gratification. But the truth is, your choices don't just affect you right now. They shape the quality of your future. Imagine the version of yourself 5 years from now. Stronger, wiser, more focused. That version doesn't appear by accident. It is built by the sacrifices you make today, the discipline you show when it's inconvenient, the integrity you hold when no one is watching. We often think of the future as something that just happens, but the future is not fate. It is formed. It is shaped moment by the decisions that seem small but carry massive weight. Whether you get up when the alarm rings, whether you keep the promises you made to yourself, whether you push through the workout, the job application, the lonely night, these are the moments that matter. Because they are building something. Invisible but powerful, your future identity. And that future identity is not some distant stranger. It is you. The you who will live with the consequences of what you do right now. Every excuse you make today becomes a burden your future self has to carry. Every time you give in to doubt, procrastination, or fear, you are handing your future a heavier load. But every time you choose growth, choose courage, choose to keep moving, even when it's hard, you are giving your future self a gift. You are laying down the tracks for a better life, a stronger foundation, a deeper sense of self-respect. The greatest form of self-love is discipline, not the kind that punishes, but the kind that protects your future. If you could speak to your future self right now, what would they ask of you? Would they beg you not to give up when it gets hard? Would they thank you for staying consistent, for believing in something better? The decisions you make today determine the options available to you tomorrow. Every step forward, no matter how small, adds up. You may not see the results immediately, but the work is never wasted. The discipline compounds, the strength compounds, the confidence compounds. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be intentional. You just have to remember that the work you're doing now is not for nothing. It's for the person you are becoming. Your future self is counting on you to keep going, to stay focused, to not let temporary emotions destroy permanent potential. So the next time you want to quit, to break the promise, to give in to comfort, remember who you're doing this for. You're doing it for the you who's still on the way. The you who will look back one day, not with regret, but with pride, knowing that even when it was hard, you showed up. You chose growth. You chose belief. You chose to build a future worth living. Rebuilding yourself is not a single act. It is a daily decision. It begins with the will to start, no matter how small that start may seem. It is sustained by habits, shaped by the power of action over emotion, and fueled by the truth that you are never finished. You can rise from any place, transform any pattern, and train your mind to serve your purpose rather than sabotage it. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are the architect of what comes next. And with every intentional choice you make today, you are shaping a future that your stronger, wiser self will one day thank you for. Thank you for giving me your time, your energy, and your belief. If only for these few moments. I hope this message ignites something inside you. Something that whispers, I can rebuild. I must rebuild. I will rebuild. Because you can, and you're not alone. Let's rise. One decision, one action, one new day at a time. Thank you.